Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue with the history of 40K as we get into the lore of the Age of Strife. So let's get into 40 Facts about the Age of Strife. The Age of Strife, also sometimes referred to as Old Night, is the name of the chaotic and highly fragmented period of human history between the 25th and the 30th millennium. According to the official histories of the Imperium, the precise details and date of the Age of Strife are not known, due to the data having been lost over vast amounts of time, to the chaos of that period, and partly to censorship by various Imperial authorities, who seek to prevent the people of the Imperium from learning more about the rampant, uncontrolled psykers and demonic chaos incursions that marked many of the human worlds of the period. During the so-called Dark Age of Technology, humanity had reached its technological peak. The Standard Template Construct, or STC, had been perfected by human scientists and engineers, and allowed an unprecedented expansion of humanity throughout the galaxy. One of the reasons humanity was so successful at conquering a large part of the galaxy was the development of the artificial intelligent humanoid constructs, now only known as the Men of Iron. These powerful and fully autonomous laborers and combat robots won many wars for humanity. But as the time went on, the Men of Iron turned against their masters at the end of the Dark Age of Technology. The war was eventually won by humanity, but at a great cost. The damage was catastrophic and had shattered many of humanity's powers. As humanity became widely dispersed across the galaxy during the Age of Technology, the ancient Eldar Empire began its decline. The great success of the advanced Eldar race had led to hedonism on a grand scale. Within the Immaterium, the psychic universe of the Warp, the spiritual corruption of the Eldar civilization was reflected in the form of a new chaos god, Slaanesh, which in turn caused massive disturbances in the Warp. Because of this, parts of the galaxy became isolated by these warp storms, making warp travel and communication impossible, cutting off many human colony worlds from one another, including those of the solar system. Toward the end of the Age of Technology, psykers first appeared among humanity. While persecuted on many backward, regressive human worlds as witches, an enlightened and progressive society, these psykers were at first protected and accepted. The intolerance of psykers would soon grow, as many human worlds fell to dominance of demons and other warp creatures, using possessed psykers as gateways into the physical world. Only worlds which had rigorous, suppressed psykers survived. The Age of Strife followed the Age of Technology, as human civilizations collapsed in widespread insanity, demonic possession, anarchy, and interhuman civil war. Terrible weapons of the Golden Age of Technology were unleashed, devastating many human colonies, and turning once vibrant worlds, such as Bal Segunda, into desert planets. Many isolated and vulnerable human colony worlds also became prey to hostile alien races, such as the Orcs. The once powerful human civilization became a fragmented shadow of what it once was. In the relatively short span of time, the once galaxy-spanning human civilization was brought to its knees, and was forced to endure nearly 5 millennia of anarchy, terror, war, genocide, and slavery. Other than tales of great suffering, little information has survived this dark time to be known to men and women of the Imperium. Earth and the rest of the settled worlds of the solar system were surrounded by terrible warp storms, isolating the human homeworlds for several thousand years from the rest of the galaxy. Control of the solar system shifted constantly between the worlds of Earth and Mars during the first half of the Age of Strife. By the 28th millennium, almost all traces of civilization on Earth were long gone. Instead, techno-barbarians battled one another over the scraps of the ancient human civilization. Little information remains from this dark time, but it is known that tyrants such as Kalgan of Ursh, Cardinal Tang, and the half-man, half-genius Narthan Dune of the Pan-Pacific Empire ruled during this era. Other known Earth nations of this time included the Indonesian bloc, the Urals, the Germine, the Gipstas, America, Afrique, the Tarawat clan, and Alba. Another ethnic mention are the Nordics people. Mars underwent a very different transformation. After a brief period of anarchy, the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus emerged victorious over the Psyker mutants, and unified their homeworld beneath their theocratic rule. The tech priests then visited Earth, but were appalled by the destruction there was, and saw nothing worth saving. Instead, the Martians studied the warp, and after many lifetimes, learned to detect lulls in the warp storm. At the same time, the immense robotic fighting machines known as Titans were created to defend the Red Planet. For over 1,000 years, the Cult Mechanicus watched and waited. Whenever a break in the warp storm occurred, an expedition was sent, complete with full Titan legions, and 1,000 of servitors and tech priests. Some of these expeditions were lost in the warp or died on faraway worlds. Others succeeded in establishing forge worlds, replicas of Mars. Broken messages were transmitted to Mars, but it was not until the time of the Great Crusade that the Forge Worlds and Mars were reunited. Little is known about the state of the outer solar system during this period. It is known that a civilization existed on the moon of Saturn, whose military arm was the Saturnian fleet. The exact extent of this nation is unknown, but it joined the Imperium at the end of the Age of Strife. Eventually, an immensely powerful human leader and Psyker, known as the Emperor of Mankind, foresaw that the final birth of the new Chaos God Slanesh was nearing, as well as the effect this birth would have on the turmoil afflicting the galaxy, and he began to accelerate his preparation for this historic changing event. From the beginning of the Age of Strife, the Emperor had no longer been content with guiding humanity from the shadows, under a myriad of different historical identities, some of them quite well known even in the 41st millennium. The Emperor had come to believe that if this species was to survive, he would have to take charge himself, openly and without dishonesty. Within his underground gene labs beneath the Himalayas, the Emperor began to experiment on the human genetic code. Using his own DNA as a template, he created the 19 gene seed organs of the Space Marines, and then the superhuman Astartes themselves. To learn more about the Thunder Warriors and the Space Marines, please check out our channel. The Age of Strife had a tremendous impact on humanity. Humanity barely survived the period, and most of the knowledge of this previous golden era was lost, much of it never to be found again. In particular, the loss of the STC system is seen as a serious setback for the advancement of the Imperium. The Adeptus Mechanicus regarded the STC as holy and constantly searched for remnants of STC systems. Although much lost information has been recovered by the efforts of the Adeptus Mechanicus, by focusing on reattaining knowledge from the ancient STC and spending little energy inventing new technology, the Imperium advanced at only a snail's pace. This is further compounded by the centralization of knowledge in the hand of the Adeptus Mechanicus, preventing dissemination of known science and technology that might speed up the process of innovation. Humanity as a whole became more superstitious and distrustful because of the horrors perpetuated during the Age of Strife, something which the Imperium government goes to great lengths to encourage. In particular, the Imperium's people distrust mutants, aliens, and psychers. This distrust runs so deep that the Imperium has a complex secret society, known collectively as the Inquisition, devoted to finding and destroying all aliens, demons, mutants, unsanctioned psychers, and heretics. The Adeptus Ministorum, the Ecclesiarchy, the official religious hierarchy of the Imperium, enforces a strict dogma, including absolute devotion to the immortal God Emperor of mankind, the embodiment of Jehovah, Jesus Christ, Allah, the Buddha, Brahma, and every other deity ever worshipped by humanity, all rolled up into a single persona. All of this because of the Age of Strife. In short, the authoritarian, often harsh Imperium of man possesses its unique characteristics, in large part due to the great suffering endured by humanity during the Age of Strife. Humanity is trying to never go through that again. And those were 40 facts about the Age of Strife. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was only 30 facts today, but in reality we've done so many videos that pertain to this era that you can go onto the channel if you haven't watched them already, and there is a Unification War series. It's a 4-part series that explains what Earth was like before the Great Crusade. And then you could also check the Abhuman series, which explains the effects that being separated from Terra during the Age of Strife had on all those different worlds out there. You could also check out the Dark Age of Technology video that was put out about a week ago. That has a lot of information leading up to the Age of Strife that you guys might like. So there's a lot of lore on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're already a subscriber and you're an avid watcher, thank you. Thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. By you doing that, it's really helping the channel out. I'll catch you guys tomorrow in the next video. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.